angafundwa ebekweceleni engahlanganiswa namanye amaphepha.
My Lord, what I said, my recollection is that I've indicated that A12 was made few hours after the incident took place. That's what I've said. And then I said subsequent to that, then A58 was then made a month later. And my view, my Lord, was that at that stage, and I can say it with certainty that my suspicion was actually correct, that it could have been made for the issues of the ID parade. I have since confirmed that indeed it was for the issues of the ID parade.
Ngishilo ukuthi ke u-A12 wenzwa ngalelo langa lesigameko kodwa ke u-A58 wenzwa sekudlule inyanga ngicabanga ukuthi wasetshenziswa wawenzelwa ikhombakhomba.
Yes, normally when a further statement is made, that is referred to as an additional statement. You can have a second additional statement, a third additional statement, etc., etc., etc. But what I want to bring to you, or what I want to bring to your attention is that whilst in A12, Ms. Makumalo mentions that the intruder who had a firearm had a dreadlock hairstyle, and she ends there. And in A58, she further elaborates on the nature of the dreadlocks, or the style of the dreadlocks that this intruder who had a firearm had. And she says she had dreadlocks that came to her jaw area. Would that not be a better description in terms of a witness who's describing a person that she saw in a particular incident?
I don't think the witness's jaw area. I think yesterday counsel himself posted the portion where she says came up to the neck, not the jaw area.
I'm sorry, my lord, that is my mistake. Jaw and neck, to me they look, yes, but she says came up to that hang up to his neck. It really doesn't make any difference. But the question is, would that not constitute a better description of the person that she saw on that day?
Manje Makumalo kumese chaza lapha ku-A58 ungathi chaza kabanzana ukuthi lama dreadlock ayenjani ngoba uthi leke lama dreadlocks ayefika entanyeni lokho ke kuyona incazelo engcono.
So my lord, yes, if it was a mere additional statement seeking clarity to what was said by A12, yes, that will be a better description. However, as I've said, my lord, earlier, and if one read at A58 in its entirety, because the problem here, Advocate Mnisi only referred me to paragraph 6, which deals with the length of the dreadlocks. But if you read the statement from the top right up to the end, one will see that that statement was taken for the purpose of the ID parade, where Mrs. Kletil Kumalo went to identity parade, identify the wrong person that I spoke about, Mr. Mbata, and even refer to the number. So if you look at Mr. Mbata in terms of the photos that were taken on that ID parade, he bears the dreadlocks that comes to the neck, my lord. There's a photo album that was taken for that ID parade. So the essence of A58, it wasn't just to assist the police to describe the intruders. It was in relation to the ID parade that she attended, identify a person bearing number 11, because it's contained in that statement A58, and subsequently photos were taken. That was the essence of that statement. So the issue of the dreadlocks up to the neck relates to the person that she identified, and obviously places this person as one of the intruders who were there when the incident took place.
Athi-ke uma ukuthi uyasifunda sonke istatement lesi uzosizisa ukuthi leso statement sasingenzelwanga ukuthi amaphoyisa akwazi ukuthi azi ukuthi umuntu ubani, kodwa sasenzelwe ukuthi kubonakala ukuthi labantu ababekhona lapha kukhomba babe abantu abanjani. So ke lesi statement sasingenzelwanga amaphoyisa kodwa sasenzelwe ikhomba.
Yes, my lord, that's my response, and if it needs be, I'll refer to the album that was taken, because as I said, A58 refers specifically to the person that was identified, and subsequently the photo album for that IG parade, my lord, which is marked as A72 in the docket, you can see the person that was identified by Mrs. Gladys Kumalo.
Iyabonakala lapha ethombeni ku A72 uthi lo muntu owakhonjwa uMakhumalo wayengumuntu onjani.
Thank you. At least despite the long winding explanation or answer, at least you conceding that that was a better description of one of the suspects, particularly the one who had a firearm in his possession.
Ngisathi nanoma ke ulethe incazelo ende kodwa kuyamukela ukuthi impela lincazelo ebilapha ku A58 ingconywana.
But my lord, you can't disassociate the fact that the person she refers to that she identified was a wrong person. You cannot separate it, because that's why I'm saying A58 says who did she identified, and it became clear in the investigation that Mr. Mbata, whom was identified and arrested, was the wrong person. He was not involved in this matter.
Hayi kodwa awukwazi ukubalekela lokuthi ke lapha ku 858 ibichaza ukuthi ubani amkhomba ngoba lapha wakhomba umbatha kuyena lo muntu lo wakhomba umuntu okungeyena.
Brigadier Kininda, you seem to be missing the point in a very grave way. Look, Ms. Makhumalo says, I was one of the people in the house, and when we got accosted, I was there. I saw the suspect that was in possession of the firearm. That suspect that I saw looked like this. That is a point that we cannot shy away from. Whether that ultimately in the ensuing identification parade, whether she identified a wrong person or not, that is immaterial. The fact is her capacity to identify the intruder who had a firearm in his possession. Remember, I said to you that at the core of this trial is the identity of the intruders.
uMakhumalo yena wayekhona endlini and futhi ke uMakhumalo wambona lo muntu wayephethe isibhamu. So ke into semqoka la ukuthi yena wakwazi ukuthi lo muntu wayephethe isibhamu wayengumuntu onjani.
My lord, that's not what A58 says. A58 doesn't say the suspect looks like this person she identified. She says the person she's identifying is one of the intruders. That's the bottom of A58, my lord. Not that this person looks like the person that had the firearm. That's not what A58 says, my lord.
A58 akazi ukuthi lo muntu wayenjani. Ichaza lo yena amkhombayo ukuthi ukhomba umuntu onjani.
Thank you. Let us proceed, Brigadier Kininda. Now, you have been mentioning that there was an identification parade that was held wherein Ms. Makhumalo identified what you referred to as a wrong person. From what you're saying, I gather that there can be no dispute between the defense and the state that indeed such an identification parade was held, which would then necessitate me authenticating the process at the identification parade. I need to take that up from my colleague. I just want to hear his comment. Thank you, my lord.
My lord, the identification parade has been handed up. Evidence has been led. I don't know why this issue is being canvassed with the state.
Thank you, my lord. Thank you. To number...
Uthe uMakhumalo wakhomba umuntu okungeyena.
Photo 16. From my look, she identified a person who had a tag number 11 that was put on his chest. That appears on photo number 16.
Uthe wakhomba lo muntu owayephethe ke unumber 11 obonakala lapha esithombeni number 16.
Also on photo number 4 in the photo album. It's a more legible photo. Yeah, I don't have saved it. Thank you. Thank you, my lord. The more legible one is photo number 7. I don't have photo number 7 in my photo album, but nonetheless, I think the court has got a holistic copy of the photo album. It's photo number 7 and photo number 17. Now, the reason why I'm referring you to this, say, it's because I want to demonstrate that there's consistency in what Makumalo is saying in terms of identification of the person that she described in A58, who is the person that was in possession of the firearm when they got accosted.
hayi ngikhombisa lokho ngoba uMakhumalo ukhuluma into eyodwa bekhuluma ngalo muntu athi wambona kuumuntu owaphethe isibhamu.
Maybe before you answer, Brigadier, I'm told that on the day on which this was dealt with, the photo of the person that was identified by Makhumalo was actually beamed there. I'm requesting that we be assisted with that process as well, my lord, so that Mr. Nube can see and follow these proceedings, not only try to work on imagination as to what kind of a person that we're talking about, so that if he sees this person, then he can come up and say, yeah, no, that is me. Or he can request me to go take instructions from him and tell the court, yeah, no, that is me. Thank you, my lord.
Is it being disputed that Mrs. Kumalo Senior pointed out the wrong person?
Well, my lord, it's common because that's why those documents have been handed up as well as the identification parade.
Thank you,
Is
my
it
lord.
being disputed?
There is no dispute, my lord.
So what's this exercise about?
This is just to demonstrate something, my lord.
Because you must remember there's a piece of evidence here in one of the persons who made a confession that in fact when Mrs. Kumalo pointed out the wrong person, maybe you don't remember, I remember, then we knew that this Khakeba or witch doctor or Senz who worked on us did a very proper job, because even then the wrong person was pointed. Am I quoting the record correctly, sir?
No, but my lord,
No, I'm just asking about the record. You want to argue with me?
The
Is that so,
court,
Mr. Baloyi?
the court
Yes.
Is there some piece of evidence like that?
Yes,
That's all I'm saying.
yes, but my lord, then the court will be mindful of the fact that that is governed by the provisions of section 217.
Yes.
And over and above that, my lord, I'm wondering if the court now wants to start to believe in multi things.
No.
That the Khakeba did a wrongful thing. If the court then is believing it, then the court is taking this civilized legal system back into its prehistoric instances.
I'm not quoting emotive thing. I'm saying there's a piece of evidence
Yes.
that says that. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, but then the court says, do you still remember that witch doctor said one of the accused made a confession, said
It's not the witch doctor who says that. It's one of the accused who
Yes.
allegedly made a confession.
Yes.
And he says,
Yes.
when it transpired that the wrong person was chosen,
Yes.
he, that person who makes that allegation,
Yes.
was satisfied that the muti works.
Yes. Unfortunately,
all.
I'm not there, man.
That's all I'm saying.
Yes. I'm in a
It's
different
not dispute
trajectory.
about
Maybe
it,
the court
according
is on a different.
to Mr. Baloyi.
I'm in a different trajectory,
fine,
my
fine,
lord.
fine.
I'm in a different trajectory.
Yes,
and
fine.
whether or not that information is there, I can't
Yeah, okay.
remember. But my trajectory in this instance, Brigadier Kimila, is as follows. Whilst Makhumalo was seated in the house and they got accosted by those two intruders, she was able to have a look at this person who had a firearm in his possession and which the state has come to tell this court that that person who had a firearm in his possession is accused number 3. And according to Makumalo, that person who had a firearm in his possession was that person who was exhibited at the identification parade, and then has been as in this court who's holding a placard number 11. Whether that person was the right person or not, that's not for you to determine. We're still trying to come to the exact identity of the perpetrators. According to Makumalo, that is the person who had a firearm. And that accords very well with the description of the dreadlocks that are coming to the neck portion. Is that not so?
uMakhumalo ke uthi ngoba yena esesendlini wababona labantu ababili abangena bazohlasela wakwazi ukumbheka wambona lo muntu wayephethe isibhamu and uthi lo muntu wayephethe isibhamu umsola wesithathu kodwa kuyabonakala ukuthi yena uma sekhomba lapho wakhomba lo muntu obonakala lapha esithombeni ophethe le placard ebhala ukuthi number 11 asikakafikike la ekutheni sikwazi ukuthi siveze kahle ukuthi bawobani labantu abahlasela lapha akunjani?
No, I beg to differ, my lord. My lord, I thought investigation is a systematic way of finding the truth. So if a person makes an error, be it intentional or otherwise, and evidence shows that this is a wrong person, you cannot now ignore the truth, because that is the purpose of finding the truth. That is what our justice system is all about. That's the first aspect, my lord.
Manje kokuqala ngifuna ukusho ukuthi ke ukuphenya indlela yokuthi ke kubhekwe kanzulu ukuthi kwenzeke noma ukuthi khona owenze iphutha kusho ukuthi kufanele kumiwe kungasaqhutshekelwa phambili kufanele kuqhutshekwe kuzama ukuthi kufinyelele eqinisweni.
Secondly, my lord, Mrs. Khumalo made her statement, the first statement, that is A12, on the 27th of October 2014. And in that statement, she described the intruder which had a firearm with dreadlocks, not where they end. She simply mentioned the issue of the firearm, the demanding of cell phone and money in the Zulu language, and that the person had dreadlocks, which I was asked if it's corroborated. It's corroborated. So that is the first. That is the second part, my lord. Then I'll go to the third part.
Manje okwesibili ukuthi uMakhumalo wabhala istatement sakhe ngomhla 27 October 2014 ila echaza khona ukuthi lo muntu lo wangena lapha wayephethe isibhamu nokuthi wafika bacela ama cell phone nokuthi ke wayenama dreadlocks.
Then, my lord, and it's important to follow the proper sequence of the events, because it talks to why the issue of A58 is not really what Advocate Nisi is saying, with greatest respect. Now, first statement is 27 October 2014. Then the identity parade, my lord, is held on the 29th of October 2014, where Mrs. Gladys Khumalo goes and then identify this gentleman, Mr. Mbata, on the 29th of October, 2 days later, after she disposed a statement where she didn't describe the length of the dreadlocks on the first statement, which is A12.
Manje ke okunye ke ukuthi ke fanele silandelele ukuthi lezi zinto lezi zenzeka kanjani ngoba istatement sokuqala esenzwa uMakhumalo wasenza ngomhla 27 October kodwa ke lesi ikhomba yona yenzwa ngomhla 29 October la afika khona akhomba umuntu.
Now, on that ID parade, my lord, of the 29th of October, it's prudent to mention that the photographer was there, and these photos were taken on the 29th of October. Now, on the 6th of November, that is days later, then Mrs. Makhumalo meets the police and disposes A58. So this is now how A58 come into existence. It comes into existence after the ID parade has been held. The photographer has taken the photos of this gentleman that is depicted. Then A58 comes into existence. So how could you then say this is how Mrs. Khumalo saw the intruders? Because it comes much later, after there was an ID parade.
Manje ke emva kuleyo ID parade leyenzwa ngomhla 29 October uMakhumalo wayenza ukuthi kukhona nalabo bebethatha nezithombe kodwa ke u-A58 statement asenza wasibhala ngomhla ka6 November sekudlule izinsuku.
Yes, that's my explanation.
Brigadier, I'm going to say again that you are missing a lot of points here. The issue is about the person that Ms. Makumalo saw. It's not about the statements. Whether or not A58 was taken after this identification parade, it is neither here nor there. But if it were to be there, then it basically confirms what she identified at the identification parade before she penned this statement. That's all. It's just a confirm. Basically, what you are saying confirms what Ms. Makumalo saw. Thank you.
Ngizokusho wena uqinisekisa ukuthi yini uMakhumalo ayibona ngoba yena wathi mesezochaza ku-A58 wachaza lento yena ayibona.
My Lord, I don't know whether I should then repeat what I've said because I thought I tried to put it in the sequence form and explain what is my view with regard to A58 and subsequently the ID parade. So I don't know whether I should now go back to the same thing because that is my view. That is my view. This A58 is not A12. In A12, there's no description. ID parade takes place, and I'm repeating it, my Lord. Photographs are taken. Then Mrs. Kumalo Gladness is then approached for the statement in relation to the ID parade. She even mentions on one of the paragraphs, my Lord, in A58, where she says, I identified an individual bearing number 11. She's specific that this is the person that she identifies. And person bearing number 11, dreadlocks up to the neck, my Lord. So that is the essence of it. And I agree. Where we agree or we're finding each other with with Advocate Mnisi is that a wrong person was identified. That's my view. I'm saying a wrong person was identified, and this was ventilated way before my time, my Lord, before I came on board by the initial investigators, and subsequently this person was removed from investigation.
Manje ke ngisho ukuthi u-A58 akuyena u-A12 la kuba lapha ku-A12 akukho ncazelo echaza ukuthi umuntu wayenjani. Engisho ukuthi lo muntu lona owabonwa wakhonjwa uMakhumalo kwakungumuntu owayephethe unumber 11 and siyavumelana nobaba Mnisi ukuthi loyo kwakungena lo muntu wayekhombe umuntu okungeyena and futhi ke kunjalo mina ngangaqali lokhu kwenzeka mina ngaqali nokusebenza ukuphenya leli cala.
Thank you, Brigadier. I'm at least at idem with you when you say that is your view. Thank you. My Lord, A58, I'm going to request, and I'm requesting that it be handed in as an exhibit, albeit on a provisional basis, unless the state changes its mind, with me authenticating this statement. But nonetheless, may it be handed in as an exhibit. We will revisit it again when we request Ms. Makumalo to come and hear what is happening here. I'm not so sure what exhibit this should then be, my Lord.
I think that would be triple V. I'll just confirm that should be triple V.